Gents, kulmanivar. If you find yourself leaving too many matches early, it's okay to admit you have a problem. Just don't be like Daniel Akpay. Lay off the handballs and get some help. We believe in you and we want to help. Make it to extra time.
Kaizer Chiefs are in the lead.
So, in our second last match of the PT Motsepe Champions League, we welcomed Wydad needing a win. Nothing more. Anything less would mean that we'd have to rely on Petro de Luanda beating Horoya. And then we'd have to sit there with our calculators and hope for the best, as we South Africans always do. Luckily, the Wydad team did us a favor over fears of having to quarantine their team for 6 days when they returned to Morocco. They decided to let their reserve team come out. They didn't even send their coach. The assistant coach was here. And you know how you know that it was the reserve team? The guy whose job it is to make sure that the starting lineup graphic is aligned also didn't make the trip. You did a bad job, Ahmed, and this is why you're the water boy. Watching the match, you could actually tell what the instruction was from the real coach Benzarti. Stay back, defend deep, allow Chiefs the ball, and don't embarrass us. You could tell by how they were playing. Chiefs was all over them for most of that game. You could actually tell that this was a weakened side. But unlike Wydad, the Kaizer Chiefs players seem focused on making sure that they embarrass Gavin Hunt at every turn that they can get. And this time, Kuneklos was not giving away goals like he usually does. In fact, he wasn't even on the pitch. It was his goalkeeping counterpart, Daniel Akpay, who found himself just outside the box with a ball in his hand, a position that a lot of married men know and hate. Best strong boy. And in football, as you know, that is illegal. And the ref decided to give him a red card. But gents, if you find yourself leaving matches early, don't be like Daniel. Lay off the handballs and get some help. Make it to overtime. Now I'm starting to see a trend in our matches where the minute I talk badly about a player, the next match he scores. Happened a few weeks ago with Reef Frostler. And then last week I spoke at length about Bernard Parker's inability to score goals. And wouldn't you know it, Bernard Parker finally scored with a 47th minute header to give us the lead. It just goes to show that if at first you don't succeed, you can try and try and try and try and try and try. It will eventually happen for you. Clearly, since this is a trend, for the next match, I'm going to pick Kama. Let's see what we can say about him to jog him into form. Here we go. Kama Bidat, listen up. You play like shit. I hate your hair and I hate your crosses. You never score. Now, Khosi fans, we sit back and watch the hat-trick happen. You're welcome. In the 89th minute, imagine, last minute of the match, Nurkovic also happened to get himself sent off. This must be so frustrating for Gavin. If there's one player you needed in a crunch match to get you through to the other round, it would be Nurkovic, but he won't be there. Very important for us to go into that match and win. A dull, ugly match, but a win nonetheless. 3 points in the bag, and now we go into the last game of a group stage African tournament qualifier, needing to play away and win our last match in order to go through. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. I've seen this before, haven't I? Recently even. We took this momentum and headed back to FNB Stadium to face Stellenbosch FC, a team that's led by the coach you get when the premium Barker runs out and you have to go with the cheaper, less efficient Steve. You could tell the Chiefs was buzzing after that win versus Wydad. In fact, we happened to hit the post in the 2nd minute from our resident beloved Ben 10 Ngobo. Not to be outdone or roll over, Stellenbosch came right back and hit a ball across the face of our goal. You could tell what type of match it was going to be because the teams went back and forth for most of the match. Oddly enough though, the first goal only came in the 71st minute, with Daniel Akbay to blame for his second mistake in the second game. I don't know what happens when the ball's in the air. It's like he forgets all of his goalkeeping skills. Against Wydad, he misjudged the bounce and it almost went over his head. And this time, a misjudgment off of a corner gave a literal open goal chance to Senkala, who headed it home. Now, this game was back and forth, and just a few minutes later, Chiefs came back with a header of their own from a returning Leonardo Castro's head. Stellenbosch's turn, and 3 minutes later, they came back with a header of their own. 3 headers now in this match. But it was all down to Ngobo to end this header run, sweeping it in with his left foot past the keeper, taking advantage of the keeper running in the opposite direction to his shot. Look, this was a great game, and we should have actually had 2 more goals, having been denied 2 penalties in both halves. One when Manyama was brought down, and another one when Katsande, in one of his rare forays forward, was brought down as well. But I guess morals get cut into like a hot knife through butter when Rupert gives you the brown bag. So I guess we're just going to have to go call on another billionaire who just so happens to be one of the most important people in football now, and ask him to give us VAR so that this never happens again. But all in all, great match, back and forth, it was exciting. Gavin has now gone 3 games unbeaten, so it looks pretty good for him. Hopefully this carries on and takes us into our next match. Dankie Khosi, dinithanda nonke makhaya. See you guys after the next match. Khosi for life.